Hi guys, this is Natasha, aka Natty Willie, and welcome to another episode of TV Talk with Natasha and Kim. It has been but a minute since I have been here on TV Talk, so say hi, Kim.
Hi, everybody.
I have missed Helix apparently, but maybe we can talk about that at another episode. But right now, we're going to be talking about Grimm for the last few weeks, and also The Following, which gave us an episode this past Sunday after, was it the NFC championship game?
Yes, it was after the NFC.
Okay, yeah, okay. I don't watch football. You can tell. All right, so so let's talk about Grimm first. The episode from a few weeks ago was Eye of the Beholder, which featured Hank, that rhymes, Hank and his therapist and Juliet and her friend. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, I really like this episode because it just had a really multicultural cast, let's put it that way, in this episode. And you really got to see, like, how strong Juliet is, and you know what I really liked about this episode was the dynamic between her and her friend. Like, she feels like her friend is keeping the secret, and she's like, you don't have to hide it from me, and she was so emotional about it. I really liked that, because you saw that, like, you saw more of her personality with that, and I really liked that, that emotion that they put into that. I was wondering, like, why her friend was trying to hide it. I mean, somebody comes right out and says, I know you're a Vesson and I'm such and such, and I'm like, well, why even bother at that point trying to hide it? But I guess it's like, you know, you've been trying to keep it under wraps for so long that might be hard to just admit it. But I mean, if I was a Vesson, I'd go around and be like, yep, I'm bad, man. Check me out. I would. I'd just be like going down the street and Volga. I would just randomly down the street. Not to kids because that's mean, but I'd just be like, "Rrr."
Well, except for on Halloween, you can do that on Halloween for the kids.
I would strut.
Well, I mean, it's like Rosalie said. I mean, she was in denial for so long, and it's not as if she's come out to too many humans before. In fact, that Juliet is probably the first human that she's come out to. So just her being in denial of that, as well as going through the situation that she was going through with her ex, it's kind of like, all right, well, I don't really need to deal with this right now, but they had to deal with it. But I was also kind of mad at Juliet, to be honest, because she totally went against what Nick said. Like, Nick told her, don't tell her anything, just act like things are normal. But at the same time, I can understand why Juliet did what she did, and it actually wound up working out for her anyway.
Juliet's so awkward when she tries to keep a secret. It's just chock full of awkwardness.
They were both awkward.
I'm like, I'm feeling really, I mean, I felt it. I'm like, this is awkward to watch, but she's funny. And I mean, that's good. It's hard for her to keep a secret from her friend. But yeah, I was like, oh, no, you did not just tell her when Nick told you not to. Of course she's running out of there, you know?
Especially when she told that, oh, yeah, well, Nick is a Grimm. Oh, yeah. The Vesson automatically freak out as soon as they realize that Nick is a Grimm. Like, it was just automatic for her. And so at the same time, well, Nick didn't really have to do anything. Like, Juliet and her friend Alicia just took care of business as far as her ex was concerned. And Juliet kind of made up for telling her everything when Nick told her not to by beating up on the ex. That's just...
And she did. In my notes, when I was watching that, all I wrote was, in big letters, darn Juliet. Like, in big letters, I'm like, because she just, man, she destroyed that guy. He got beat up by a girl.
Not one, but two. They were both kicking at him, and Nick was like, yeah, I can't help you.
I know. And then when he realized Nick was a Grimm, he's like, "I'm sorry, don't kill me." I'm like, you jumped a cop, and you're sorry about it being a Grimm? I mean,
I don't get it, but it is what it is. I guess that's how abusers are. They just don't care, or they feel like, oh, I can just do whatever and not get away with it. And
yeah, that's crazy. And you know what else is crazy? Why doesn't Rosalie and Monroe need to sit down and have a talk? Because it's like, oh, my past, I used to be a druggie. What? Monroe's like playing the...
Well, Monroe actually kind of knew that about her when they first met.
Did he? Because he sounded like he acted like he didn't really know, and then when she was I think it came out that she was. Am I jumping ahead? Is that the next episode? I am probably jumping ahead. But and then when he's playing the cello, I wasn't. It made me feel like she didn't know that he played the cello, and I'm like, did anybody talk anymore? Like.
Well, I mean, most of the time they're helping Nick, so it's kind of like, when do they really have time to...
Oh, if they've got time. They live together, so...
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they said it in a previous episode. I just don't remember it, because I remember being like, what?
Yeah. Well, let's get back to Hank, since it was kind of like his episode, supposedly, like at least the first half. So his therapist comes back. Apparently she's inadvertently involved because her brother witnesses a crime with a gang of Vesson, which they have never heard of except for Rosalie because of her past. And so they kind of nip the bud on that. In fact, you find out that Tyler, or Zuri, so to speak, is a Vesson, and she's a Loguriat, which is kind of like the jaguarish Vesson that has apparently a bad temper and will chew you up and spit you out via your throat. So those gang members pretty much messed with the wrong family. I'm just saying.
Well, it's interesting because the people that they were beating, they were the same type of Vesson too.
Yeah, and that just, yeah, I was not understanding that, but yeah, I thought that was interesting because it was like, as soon as around the end came, it was like they totally sucked as far as like being able to be powerful or being able to fight or anything. It was like they were totally clueless.
Well, I mean, since she kept saying that, she kept running over to him about calming down and she needed to be there to help him with his temper. I'm like, oh, this guy's like something and he's going to turn into some like crazy thing. And so I expected, and I figured, if he does, then she does.
Well, yeah, I kind of figured that as soon as she was trying to, like calm him down and whatnot. But at the same time, we didn't know what kind of Vesson they were, although we have seen that type of Vesson before. I think it was either in season 1 or season 2, actually, dealing with the Lady of the Lake kind of a thing, where she was like stealing kids, if I recall correctly, because the cop was that type of Vesson, if I recall.
Yeah, the one that was traveling from out of state, like she was coming from Arizona or something like that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
It just, it was interesting, like, to see her again, because I know there was something there between her and Hank, and this you kind of, like, I mean, he wants to be there, and he said, woo, that was so funny. He's like, who wants coffee, blah, 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 and Hank's like, I got this, and he's like, oh, well, I'll have a latte, and I'm like, woo.
Well,
telling you to get out.
Yeah, he's trying to clue you in, and you're not quite getting it, but he got it. He's like, oh, okay, I'll leave.
He did, and it was sweet. It was actually cute. It's just a shame. That's another awkward part, man, when he's like, I don't care. I don't care that you're a cat. Well, obviously she cares you're not a cat, Hank, because I don't know if she just was not into it and it was awkward. And I'm like, oh, poor Hank.
I'm like, can he just get lucky, please? Can someone just have a relationship with him? Because, I mean, he's a handsome guy. I mean, really? I mean, Monroe is getting some with Rosalie, Nick is with Juliet. It's time for Hank to find some love. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. Like, I mean, because they didn't really explain why she didn't. I mean, she just said she minds. So does that mean she minds that he's not a cat? I guess she does, or she
Or at
minds
least
that
not
she
Besson.
is. Yeah, I know. That's so like, man,
I know! I'm just...
see past the lines. So yeah, that I felt bad for him. Oh,
Oh, poor Hank.
it was sad.
Tear.
I mean, look, homeboy like did all this stuff like trying to protect you. You can't just
No, right?
give him a chance.
Let's go on a date. Really?
But it's gonna cost
Just one
you
date?
nothing. He's gonna pay
Are
for
you
it.
really? Oh.
Maybe
I
she's
will
scared
take
of
you,
her temper.
Hank. Well, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, he would have to tread carefully with both of them because I'm sure that her brother would have been like, don't mess with my sister. If you hurt her, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, maybe you should second guess that, Hank. Maybe it's not
Yeah,
the best idea.
Yeah, maybe she gave you an out that you should definitely take, and that's probably a good thing. Yeah.
Well, that is strike two, Hank. I mean, first was Adeline, now her. Third
yeah,
time's the charm?
I don't know.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
I mean, I thought it was a good episode. I just liked.
It was.
I liked every Grimm. I haven't really had a bad episode of Grimm because I think they do just a fantastic job on developing the characters, even though you only see some of them for a short time. In this particular episode, you saw characters that dragged over from previous episodes, so it's just a continuation.
Mm-hmm.
You saw her brother, that was new, but you had seen her before, and Juliet's friend before, and then in the main cast and whatnot. So I don't know. I thought it was really good. I liked it. I felt sorry for Hank, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? So let's talk about the next episode, The Good Soldier. Oh my gosh, that was so what?
That was like seriously best lesson fight scene ever.
Yes.
I rewound it. I was like, and like rewound it, and that was they just did a really good job with that. But we're skipping ahead. So this was about what was this about again? Oh my gosh. Oh, I knew. Could you know from the beginning what I was here again with the awkwardness? I'm like, this story is not going to be a good one. Not that it's not entertaining, but I think I'm like, I can see where this is going with this female soldier, and it's just going to be awful. And awkward again. And like I said, it's not the episode that was awful. It's just what happened to her was awful. And it's just oh man, like, oh.
I mean, you kind of got an idea from the jump, like what she was kind of after. And even though I like live tweeted like what the heck happened in Iraq, I kind of knew. And it was just sad, especially the one guy that was trying to keep it under wraps, and the other guy was like, no, we should come clean. And I was surprised the wife went along with it. She was like, no, you were not telling anybody.
It was just like, I mean, when you see what she's doing to her aunt, you know what? That's a credit to the story writing. When it makes you feel uncomfortable, it made me feel uncomfortable. She was the way that she was cutting her arm, and I'm like, oh, this like poor girl, and like this trauma, and I'm like, I'm feeling and that's a credit to the writing because they really put you in that situation, where you kind of feel that emotion. So that's a credit to the writing. But just seeing her and like, obviously she's going through mental distress. I mean, she's over there, serving her country, and to have that happen to her, not by military people, mind you. There's one military person, the rest were contractors. Just and
the her commanding officer wanted to get them, like wanted to nail them good, and he couldn't because apparently what the contract was between the government and them is that they could pretty much get away with anything, and that sucks.
Yeah, let's hope it's not how it's being handled now.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised, but I mean, it is what it is. But at the same time, it's unfortunate that women have to suffer more just because they're women. Like, it shouldn't be happening at all, especially when they're trying to serve their country.
Yeah, and you know, for in the episode, you got for a split second, you think that she's whatever's doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and then once you get into it, it's so weird. Like once I got into it, I figured I guessed one of them, but I didn't know. I didn't think there was two.
No, I didn't think there were two either, and that's what made it so badass. I was like,
Yeah.
what? We got the showdown of showdowns of the same Vesson. It's not like it was different Vesson. It was the same Vesson, so you can actually like see them in their element trying to, you know, they know each other's weaknesses and they're still trying to like, you know, stick them with their tail or, you know, like, oh my gosh. And that was just the ultimate sacrifice because apparently that was the only way for at least the one guy to get arrested because he had to be mad enough to stab him, and the guy was totally innocent of it. Like, he was like, I had my hands up and you stabbed me. Like, and Nick and Hank just see that. Really?
Yeah, it was a well put together scene. Because I didn't even know until that scene that there was two of them. It's not like,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah, no. I mean, if anything, you thought the other guy was maybe another Vesson, or was just so like trying to get away with whatever that he was just gonna do. You know what? Just bring it. But it's like I was not expecting that at all.
No, I thought he was going to pull out a gun and try to shoot him or something like that. I didn't
Yeah,
expect.
yeah, exactly.
So that was really. I mean, I love that scene. Like I said, I rewound it. It was a really good scene.
Well, you only got the emotional side of the actual case that they were working on, but actually the emotional side of Rosalie reuniting with her family. And I really thought that it was initially awkward that she invited Monroe, but it actually worked out because he managed to talk to her and bring her out of her shell and actually help them heal that rift. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. And see, that's what I'm like. Rosalie has skeletons in her closet that I didn't even know about, and I don't know if I'm just like non-observant because I could be, and they could have gone over it. But I'm like, ooh, we're in jail. Did anybody ever mention that?
well, not that she was in jail, but that she was using drugs, and now we know why she didn't go to her dad's funeral was because she was in jail. And it was just so interesting that the one thing that she stole was a watch. I'm like, oh, they're meant to be! Oh!
So Monroe got punked by her sister.
Yes,
He
right?
got punked. Like I was like, dude, she made you jump. She just, as big as you are, she made you jump. She doesn't look anything like her sister. She looked like her brother. I see the resemblance there. Her sister looks completely different. But it was really interesting to see why, because you never really understood why there was such this clash between her and her family and why she kept her mom at arm's length away and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. And so you really found out why, her sister resented her for going up and down the east coast or whatever while her sister moved home to help her mother. Um, and she's the older sister, so I'm like, well, it's kind of what you do, but
Well,
um,
at the same time, you expect your siblings to at least help you out a little bit. I mean, I'm just not going to go there, but yeah.
yeah, but also I was like, to me, and I'm glad Rosalie brought it up. I was like, well, where were they when her brother passed? Because you didn't see them.
True. Unless, it was kind of like not, you didn't really see it. But at the same time, Rosalie wasn't talking to them. So,
That's true, but you think they would have showed up, and then she went and cleared that all up, and now she's running a shop, and I don't know. But it looks like they've kind of mended that whole family thing, so I'm glad that was resolved, and hopefully we see a little bit more of them. Um,
Yeah, because I wasn't really feeling her sister at all at first. I'm like, who are you? And I don't like you.
Yeah, she was a little punk. I mean, she was being really rude and whatnot. I like when she takes that big piece of meat and puts it in front of her plate and starts cutting it right in front of Monroe. I'm like, dude, come on. You couldn't have just like not eaten meat for one day.
I mean, really. But at the same time, she made up for it by like punking Monroe and is like, I will kill you if you hurt my sister, because that's what family's supposed to do. They're supposed to, kind of interrogate the potential spouse or whoever you're really serious with and, threaten them pretty much.
Yep. And now we can finally mention her name. I feel Adeline because I have no idea. Does she have her powers back? She made a cup fly.
Was that her baby?
I don't know. That is a good point. Is it her baby that has powers, or is it her? She was having contractions or something.
Something was happening. I think her baby was trying to talk to her by moving the cup and by making the lights flicker.
It'll be interesting to see where that comes from. I'm going to count it as her having her powers back, even if it's her baby controlling it, so I can mention her name now.
Hooray!
So hopefully we get a little bit more of that next episode, because, yeah, that's slowly dragging along. I would like to see something. Have the baby already, or something.
I'm just.
So I'm looking forward to next week for that. So, well, before we get on to the following, do you have any last thoughts on the last 2 episodes of Grimm?
Just that I enjoyed them both a lot, and the last episode was a little more emotional. I actually got a little teary-eyed. I was like, oh my gosh, Rosalie, and oh my gosh, the girl soldier. But I mean, in all seriousness, it was a serious discussion, like on both fronts. So family rifts being mended and a soldier going through something that she shouldn't have had to go through, and the awesome fight scene.
Yes, Grimm definitely got deep these last 2 episodes. They made you think.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move into the following now.
Lord have mercy.
I love the following. I saw the preview for it back at Comic-Con, 2 years ago, and I was like, this show is going to be awesome. And it was. First season was awesome. And so this first episode for the second season did not disappoint. And when I went to the panel at this past Comic-Con, they showed you the first 2 minutes of this season, so I knew what was going to happen, and it was still hard to watch. And I know, Claire, gosh.
You called it when we talked before. I was like, maybe, because she showed up on Under the Dome, and I'm like, well, they could have filmed separately, but you were like, no, she's dead. And I'm like, maybe she's not. I was trying to be optimistic, but
see, that was me because I saw the first 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it was. That's probably what it was. I'm like, oh, why they have to kill Claire? But maybe this is actually a little bit better. I don't know.
I don't know. I felt like after Comic-Con, they didn't show the part where they went to the hospital, and so when you saw Ryan just go like this, and he was start, crying. I was like, oh, this is just an emotional night of television. It was sad, and he tried so hard. And those of you following fans out there, he had tried so hard.
Oh my gosh,
to keep her safe. It's just.
But why didn't he figure out that chick was a follower, especially after Emma kidnapped the son? I'm just, why didn't it even enter into his brain that there was a possibility that he was also being followed by a follower? And he slept with her too.
No, that was really bad. I felt. I don't know that I would have figured it out unless they showed it to me, which they did. So I knew, but I don't know that I would have. It's just you have to think everybody is, and what sucked is where were the there's people downstairs guarding I know she had a key. He should have never given anybody a key to his house. He should have taken it away as soon as this happened. But she had been his neighbor for what, how long? That's the thing. They planted these people for years. Like, this is what freaks me out about the following, because it's a little too close to reality, or what could be reality.
Well, yeah, I mean, anybody could be a undercover psycho.
Yeah, I mean, this could happen. The chances of, like, you walking down the street and running into a vest are pretty slim to none, versus the following this is the kind of crazy that exists in the world today.
Yeah, like someone random can just go up to you for no reason, maybe start having a conversation, and just stabs you.
Yeah, and let me tell you, those two twins, okay, look.
For Ricky?
I'm not all for profiling, but I'm telling you that if you look at this list of serial killers out there, those twins fit the bill, especially when one of them has glasses on. Like, if I saw that, and then I saw another guy that
hello,
like him,
I got glasses. What?
Yeah, but you don't look like those two boys. But like, well, seriously, how many women serial killers are there? They're not that many. That's what like gets me about like this show, because I mean, and to their credit, they're trying to incorporate everybody because they don't want to be one-sided. So they make the followers a bunch of different ages and ethnicities and whatnot. But women tend to not be that crazy. And no offense, guys out there. I'm just saying, if you look at the list of serial killers, how many women are on there? Not that many. But like, seriously, if there was those twins, you took those twins and you had one of them dressed with his hair slicked back and glasses, and another one you put in baggy pants and a sweatshirt and a chain around his neck, I would cross the street if I came across the guy with the glasses, because he looks like a serial killer. I would rather walk in front of the guy with the baggy pants and a chain around his neck than the guy with the glasses, and he's serial killer.
And you still would have gotten killed because both of them are crazy.
I know, well, yeah, but they both dress the same, so weird. God. Oh, it's all that unassuming, like, people that they're supposed to be unassuming and stuff. Those are the ones you got to worry about. Serial killers don't look like serial killers, except for Manson. He looked like a serial killer. But seriously, I don't know. Those were like the creepiest followers that I have seen. Don't you think?
And that poor girl, I mean, just their little ritual, and when it was revealed, well, it was kind of obvious that she was dealing with twins, but at the same time, when it was finally revealed, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's two of them. Lord have mercy, what are we going to do? And Emma made an appearance, and she's all, like, punked out, like, with pink hair, and...
She's 90s like grunge punk.
Yep.
I mean, she's, like... Oof.
Yeah, but she's incognito, and it seems like at least the majority of the followers that were at Havenport, sorry, were staying low, and these guys just come out the woodwork trying to start some stuff. And she's like, who are they? I don't know you. You need to go. And I feel like that's where she's going with that. Like, you need to go somewhere and sit down.
You know what this show makes me do? It makes me question everybody. Like, I was watching it, and I was like, okay, all of a sudden they introduce her niece and her niece's boyfriend. I'm like, I don't like her niece's boyfriend. He looks like a follower to me. Like, I like will second guess everybody. I'm like, why else would they introduce the niece? Like, why? I'm like, he's crazy. Don't trust him. Everybody's a follower. Your sponsor's a follower. I don't know. And that's what this show
And you know what? It wouldn't surprise me.
Can Ryan catch 5 minutes, please? Can he? It's been a year, though, I think. So he's had.
It doesn't matter. I mean, he has a security thing, but he's still inviting people to his house, except for his niece. I mean, his niece is okay. Hopefully, I mean, hopefully she wouldn't be caught up in the hot mess that is the following. But I'll even question the niece at this point. Like.
And he needed to hug Mike. Mike was trying to have a moment.
Yes. I need the bromance back, man. Y'all went through some stuff, and you shouldn't be treating him like that. In fact, he was trying to protect you when you killed that dude after you found Parker, like, why are you treating him like that?
I don't know. He needed a hug.
He needed a hug. Shawn Ashmore, you're a sweetheart. We did meet last year. I'm hoping to see you again sometime this year, hopefully, in one of these cons.
I was watching it and I heard "Father Figure" in my head by George Michael. That's what I was hearing when I was watching them like talk to each other. I was like, obviously he looks up to you, right? Gosh, throw the guy a bone. Like, he needed help. Where were you?
Yeah, really.
Hug, Mike. I'm also jealous about you meeting him, so whatever. But like this episode, my gosh, I mean, psychologically, I was thinking Carlos and all his fake IDs.
Yeah, wait. And you leave evidence in your apartment, really? I mean, even the FBI kind of found you out, like, really fast. Like, Ryan got to you first, but it was only a matter of time before the FBI did. I'm just saying.
He should have been able to take that scrawny twin. I mean, like, seriously, come on now. Maybe that the twin is like 2 inches taller than him, but no.
Have you do recall that those twins are crazy?
Yeah, but Carlos is supposed to be crazy too. He killed people.
Not that kind of crazy, Boo.
Not that kind of crazy.
Not that kind of crazy.
One of the twins is crazy, and one of them is somewhat well, you can't even call it normal because people kill people like normal. But like one of them is really, made him stand in the corner.
Yeah, he's like on another level, and the other twin's like, you're kind of being a little overboard. And they're kind of like doing that twin telepathy.
Yeah, and that. I mean, God, they're just a.
And they creeped me out when they was trying to like hug Carlos, and I'm like, I don't want to hug you either, man.
I don't want to hug you. I'm like,
I don't want to hug you. Ew, you're crazy. And that girl, I'm like, who are you?
I just wanted to slap her too. I'm like, don't act like that. I'm like, okay, seriously. Women who look like that aren't serial killers because they can make money out there being like actresses and models and whatnot, and it just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I can't. She cannot. Maybe it's because of her character from that one. What was that one show with the submarine that I liked and they canceled it?
Oh yeah, The Last Resort.
Yes, she was in that, and maybe I can't separate the characters. Maybe I'm like, you can't be a serial killer. Stop trying.
Well, I didn't really see this show that much, and that's probably one reason why I got canceled. But I tried to give the show a chance, but I kind of lost interest after like the 3rd and 4th episode. I'm sorry. But anyways.
What's his face? What's the guy from the last season, the cute one that was with Emma? And I was like, he's too cute to be a serial killer.
Oh, Justin?
Or Jacob? Get myself killed. Jacob. Yeah.
Yes. I am so mad that Emma killed Jacob. Like, I really wanted to see him in the 2nd season. But what's good about the following, and I have to give him props for that, is that they're not afraid to kill off cast members.
Wait, she killed him? Did I block that out?
Yeah, you did block that out. I wish I could forget. Jacob!
Well, dagnabbit. Because
I know, he had some... I know.
These 2 twins are not going to cut it for me. All right, let me start. Let me stop being... But seriously...
Carol!
I know. The show is... Oh, he needed to shave.
Actually, I was feeling the beard. I was like,
Grizzly
okay.
Adams? No.
Grizzly Carol.
But yeah, no, it's so. What was that? Where was he? Like a guy walked out of that room.
Nowhere.
No, a guy walked out of that room and said thanks for, and he handed that lady money. Like, where is Carol holding up? Was that a horror house? I mean, like
probably.
What? And there was a child on the couch. Like, I was completely horrified by that. Look, I was horrified the whole episode because the following is horrifying. That's why it's such a good show. But even at the end, with no killing, that whole scene was horrific. I'm like, what is happening there?
Oh, and did you recognize the lady that got the money?
money.
At
They
the
did
end.
have the money at the money that got the. Oh no, I didn't recognize her.
True Blood.
Oh,
Redhead.
yes, yes. Okay, yeah, that's right. I wonder if she's gonna have a bigger part or whatnot.
I hope not. I just need her on True Blood. That's all. I'm just saying.
Why does Ryan want to work outside of the lines? You know, like outside of the feds and whatnot. Does he want to like physically hurt these people instead? I mean, why does he want to do everything on his own? He's not even involving Mike. Like, I don't know.
I'm like, at least involve Mike. I mean, Mike got his butt kicked by the guys from the following. I mean, I feel like he deserves a little bit of, in the know. That's not fair.
Well,
but maybe, go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering if maybe he's doing it to like, so he doesn't get Mike in trouble because of what he's planning, or I don't know.
Well, that may be it too. And also, I mean, really, they wouldn't listen to him when he was on there consulting. And so maybe he's like, you know what? I'll probably get more done on my own without your help. The FBI kind of sucked last season. They were just all over the place.
I don't know. It's like, come on, Ryan. His niece could get kicked off the force for that. You can go to jail.
True.
So he needs to I'm hoping he turns some stuff over because then we'll get to see more of the FBI and the cast grows. He can't do it all on his own. He just can't. There's too many of them.
Yeah, Minnie Driver's on the cast, or I don't know how long, but we saw her for a few minutes. I guess she took over Deborah Parker's place. She's not like a cult specialist, but she is part of the investigation. So we'll probably see more of her.
Yeah, that'll be good too. I like when they add cast members. I have a feeling that they
don't get killed off.
What?
I said, pray don't get killed off.
Well, I have a feeling the woman that got hurt on the train, there's going to be... I don't know. I think we're going to see her again.
Well, she is in the next episode.
See, yeah, because they were showing too much of her. I'm like, they're showing too much of her, so she's obviously going to stay around. I don't know.
I'm just hoping that she's not a love interest for Hardy because he doesn't need that right now.
He doesn't. He will never love again. Look.
Oh gosh, poor baby. I'm like, it just, yeah, he's beyond damaged, and he feels like he's cursed. I mean, considering what happened last season, I kind of don't blame him for thinking that. I mean,
The more and more I think about Luke, the more and more I just want to beat him up. Luke? That's the crazy twin. Luke is crazy twin.
Is it Luke and Michael?
It's either Michael or Matt. It starts with the M.
Yeah, something like that. L and M. Okay, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but...
Yeah, well, Luke is the crazy one. I don't remember his name because he's insane. They're all insane, but still.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a level of crazy. I'm like, even Emma is on some kind of level where she's rational, sort of, and Luke is just off on his own. Like, he's on his own little world.
I'm just going back in my head and trying to think about who was doing what at that girl's house after they killed her, and I think the one that we don't think is crazy, not Luke, but the other one, was the one that was just laying there talking to her on the bed and said he could fix an omelet. He could make an omelet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the one up and dancing around was Luke. I'm like, you know what? They're both crazy. Forget it. They're both insane.
Yeah, they're twins.
I don't know why I'm trying to rationalize it. Anywho, I don't know. I love the show so much. I do. I love the show so much. It keeps me I'm like this the entire time. It keeps me engaged. I never know what's going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen either, and sometimes I'm just going to have to be like, I'm just going to let you guys do whatever, and I'm just going to roll with it, because if I try and figure stuff out, I'm just going to go crazy.
Yeah, and you're gonna be wrong, and then your feelings are gonna hurt. Or
Yeah,
like
exactly.
me.
I already feel like I totally suck at solving things now. Like I feel like CSI is my only show where I can figure things out.
um,
Primal Fear was like the first like sign that I'm like I need to work on something. Like I can't figure stuff.
Fear slapped everybody upside the head.
Oh my gosh,
that was an awesome movie. But you know what? I don't know. And next week's gonna be the 2 hour.
Oh Lord,
I'm so excited.
I'm just like, how many bodies are we gonna see in some weird position? How many are the twins gonna be like hacking? I'm like, I don't want to. And is Emma gonna actually meet up with them? And what's gonna happen when that happens? Like, I'm wanting to see that. I want to see what happens with that. Like, is she gonna go ape, or is she gonna be like, come join me?
She's gonna shoot
in
Carlos
the shower.
To prove a point.
Well, she'll definitely shoot Carlos, but I'm just saying the twins. I don't know. Maybe she'll try and do that triangle thing that she did last season with Jacob and what's his face. I don't know. And even when she finds Joe, just be like, I'll just stab both of them for you and be done.
Yeah, she's wacko.
Yeah.
She's wacko. I don't know, but 2 hours, I'm so excited. We're gonna have a lot to talk about next week. After the 2 hour. They say, you know what they say? It's like a 2 hour premiere again, but it's not a premiere. It's just like a special 2 hour episode. They should all be 2 hour episodes.
Well, it makes me wonder, like, are they showing the first episode again, or is this really gonna be all new stuff?
Don't burst my bubble.
I don't know. The thought occurred to me when they mentioned the 2 hour premiere, and I'm like, well, and this is like a preview. I'm like, huh? So if that's a preview, then are they going to show it again next week? I don't know.
Bummed out now. I thought I was going to get 2 hours of new content.
I'm hoping it's 2 hours of new content. I hope so.
Well, we shall find out. Okay, everybody.
Fingers crossed.
We are going to wrap up here, but I want you guys to keep an eye out. We're going to do a TV Talk special about Teen Wolf. We're going to do a TV Talk special about Sleepy Hollow. All that's coming up here.
Oh, man, that was a humdinger.
The next 5 to 7 days here, so look for that coming up. Otherwise, we will sign off now. Just to wrap up, Natasha, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
You can find me at WillCat12 on Twitter. Also, at The Nerd Element, I do live tweet. I probably will be live tweeting the following, at least for the East Coast. And, of course, Grimm, every Friday. And Teen Wolf, I live tweeted Teen Wolf this past Monday. So there you go.
She is our resident tweeter. I love it. And you can find me at Anime23, also sometimes at the Nerd Element. And we typically sign our tweets, so KW for me, NW for Natasha. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We've got a Tumblr. All right, guys, we will see you sometime soon, within the next couple of days. Bye.
Bye.